If you're into combat flight simulators, the DCS World F-18 Hornet module stands to offer you an awful lot. As an incredibly detailed attempt to replicate the experience of flying a high-speed naval strike fighter, the Hornet offers you the depth to get everything from dogfighting to missile strikes to air refueling and carrier operations. But outside of the sales, it also comes with a decent price tag. So, to what extent is this module something worth checking out? I'm Forrester, and in this video I try to answer that question by reviewing the DCS World A-18C Hornet aircraft module. This video will cover off the key capabilities of the aircraft in the sim, considering the learning curve, exploring the realism and immersion, and then looking at the requirements you'll need to get the most out of the module. I've put timestamps in the video description in case you want to skip ahead to a different section. So the F-18 Hornet is a strike fighter, making it an incredibly versatile aircraft, hugely capable in both air-to-ground and air-to-air missions. It's also a carrier-capable aircraft and has air-to-air refueling options, giving much more flexibility about the type of missions and operations you can fly. In terms of air-to-air capabilities, the Hornet carries the AIM-120 AMRAAM for longer range engagements, as well as the AIM-7 Sparrow, both of which are radar guided. And for shorter range engagements, the Hornet carries various iterations of the AIM-9 Sidewinder infrared missile, including the AIM-9X variant, which allows high off-bore sight engagement, meaning you can shoot an enemy aircraft that you're not directly facing. If air-to-ground is more your bag, you're also in luck. The Hornet is capable of carrying a range of smart and less smart munitions, ranging from rockets and dumb bombs to GPS or laser-guided bombs, Maverick missiles, anti-radar missiles, anti-ship missiles, you get the picture. In terms of sensors, the Hornet is equipped with a powerful radar for finding air and surface targets, as well as an optional targeting pod for locating targets visually. It's equipped with a data link for sharing targeting information across different aircraft. And there's a radar warning receiver to let you know when you're being lit up by enemy radar. With all of those systems, as you might expect, the learning curve for the Hornet is fairly steep. For players looking to get into how to fly, I'd say you're best off learning in stages. For example, once you've learned to physically fly the aircraft, you might start by learning to fire the AGM-88 HARM missile, or maybe learn how to fight in air-to-air engagements. By compartmentalizing the learning, you reduce the steepness of the learning curve. The advantage of that, of course, is the level of depth that the module offers, meaning that you'll have lots to learn for a long time in order to get the full value out of the aircraft. Across mixing different mission types, you likely have hundreds of hours of potential content, and can fulfill a number of different roles in a multiplayer scenario with as simple as a loadout change at an airfield. It wouldn't be right for somebody who isn't a real Hornet pilot to comment on the realism of this module, other than to say that Eagle Dynamics, who developed it, used a lot of research in order to portray the real capabilities of the aircraft as realistically as possible in the sim. Some real pilots who have reviewed the DCS World Hornet have commented that it does feel like it comes close to the real flight model. Because everything happens from your cockpit, you're pressing all of the buttons yourself. If you combine that with head tracking or virtual reality, or even peripherals like the Cougar MFDs, it can be an incredibly immersive experience. Actions carry consequences, and as much as Maverick might say otherwise, you realise that a lot of combat flight is about thinking tactically, rather than flying by the seat of your pants. And naturally, if you're somebody who enjoys that thinking person's game, you might think to subscribe to this channel, so you can be notified as future videos go live. In terms of what you'll need to get the most out of the module, you're probably going to want some sort of hardware. You don't need a full virtual sim pit, although if you have one, DCS World will let you get into a lot of detail in the key bindings. But you probably want more than just a mouse and keyboard, as although it's theoretically possible to fly with that, you might have a tough time with it. You'll also need to buy the module. Whilst the DCS World engine is free to play, The monetization model is by selling modules, like the F-18 Hornet. Sometimes there are sales on, but usually that's got a fairly heavy price tag of between $50 and $80. In addition, if you're really wanting to get into naval operations, the Super Carrier module also carries an additional $30 to $50 depending on sale. That's not an insubstantial price, and although you probably get more value in terms of flight hours from that than many other games, it's still a steep investment just to try out the game. Given what's happening in the world right now, it's probably also important to point out, although the developer, Eagle Dynamics, is based in Switzerland, it does have incredibly strong links to Russia. It's not exclusively a Russian company, but it's also not exclusively not a Russian company. Either way, I figured it was important to point out that information alongside the pricing. In summary, the DCS World Hornet module is an incredible experience for flight sim enthusiasts who love to learn new things. There's so much to learn, practice, and be able to do in the sim. Elements of flying are genuine skills that you can develop and hone, like being able to land on the carrier. With the mission editor and downloadable missions, you have so much content at your disposal, and naturally, with multiplayer options for either PvP, PvE, or a combination of the two, you can pretty much fly as you like. That said, the learning curve is not going to be for everybody. Unless you have a lot of experience, this probably isn't an aircraft you can hop in and fly away in. It's not cheap, nor is the hardware you need to be able to get the most out of it, and it's taken many years of early access to get to the point that it's at. But maybe that's okay for you. I'd love to know what you think about this brief overview, and what do you think of the Hornet? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please do hit that like button, as it helps me to know what you're finding most helpful. Otherwise, and as always, thank you for watching.